The fabled Mars is a destination that has caught our attention. But let us be careful and plan correctly for the success of all who go. The logistics of Mars is an important subject we should begin to think about. While the infrastructure necessary to transport people and equipment off of the surface of the Earth is well underway, and not just from SpaceX, though they are a major player, the major player. There are many others who are working on this subject. However, there's very little said about how this should be done. How should we go about planning the movement of people and materials to the surface of the moon and to Mars? What are the priorities, and what will gain us success, and what will guarantee us failure? For surely, we are all in this together, in ways, for some of us, that are impossible to see. Sending artists and tourists to the moon sounds wonderful. However, practical necessities should be thought of first and foremost. There should be, if we want success, a plan with practical, happy outcomes for all involved as a priority. From lessons that I learned in Alaska and as a nomad wandering the American states, hospitality and infrastructure are incredibly important. So I here propose something of a new idea. Beyond the first prospecting missions of Artemis to acquire access to water, which I fully agree with, should be a move to the surface of the moon that is centered around the same site as initial success in prospecting for Artemis. That is to say, Artemis lands, prospecting goes on, whatever science work is necessary to acquire access to water and determine what will be needed in order to make use of that water effectively. Then, a large number of high-mass, unmanned landings in close proximity of equipment and materials to build a fully operational hospitality base. Think along the lines of international cooperation with the U.S. as host. The first people to land will be geologists, engineers, technicians, pilots, medically skilled individuals with as much cross-training as possible, but a large number of people Probably the first crew needed will be at least 20 people. Their first job is to maintain robotic equipment and arrange the coordination of activities to prepare the base. This base should be built to house upwards of 500 to 1,000 people. That base is there for mining, prospecting, geology, space science, etc. Each landing of personnel should be accompanied with further landings of equipment and materials to build out the base to higher capacity. The base should be built to withstand micrometeorites and radiation by burying the base once it's produced. Period. And wherever possible, take advantage of cave structures or the leeward sides of mountains to reduce radiation problems. This should not be counted on, though, as it is something of a roll of the dice as to what would be found when we get there. This base, being a week away from Earth and a very short communication lag time, helps us to develop our skills of operating further in the dangerous environment of space before we get to Mars. Large volumes of the base should be dedicated to agricultural experimentation, but the food supply and air supply should not be dependent on these facilities. Success would be measured by how little of the shipped food and bottled air and processed water is needed due to the success of the greenhouse. Actors, artists, and these type are not the best for success in this environment. We need technicians. We need indoor farming specialists and botanists. Plumbers, welders, machinists, facilities management personnel, geologists. These are the people we should look for. As that stabilizes and that crew is in agreement that the system is stable and everything is working well and ready for more people, others can come. The next to come should be workers. More on that later. This is Darren Marchant with American Nomad News. Thank you for joining me. Please leave like, comment, and subscribe.